Akuji The Heartless. Or Akuji. I'm really not sure which of the two. But he is definitely heartless. And this is a PlayStation exclusive third-person action-adventure game from 1999. Well, if you're in the UK, anyway. Interesting menu. Very weird. So you got demos for Soul Reaver and Tomb Raider on a main menu of a game. That's very peculiar. But nevertheless, we'll give this a go. I have played it, I think, on a demo. Because I used to get the official PlayStation magazine back in the day. But if I have played it, that is the only experience I've had with it. I've certainly never had the game or rented it or anything of that sort, so we'll see how it goes. I'm not expecting a great deal. It's got a kind of look of Shadowman / Soul Reaver, so I'm expecting something quite similar to that, but who knows, maybe we'll be pleasantly surprised and this will be an exceptionally underrated game on the system. As I say, it is an exclusive. Was not released on any other system, which is quite surprising for the time for a third-person game. Really, isn't it? You know, you'd have thought it'd have been on maybe the N64 or the Saturn. Perhaps not the Saturn, probably more so the Dreamcast, actually, with the year. But either way, it did get no port, no PC port, no other console port. It was purely on the PlayStation. From what I gather, it's got a very involved storyline, which I had a brief look at before I booted the game up. Some kind of voodoo warrior type deal, which I'm assuming this introduction is kind of showing us, I guess. Some kind of ritual, maybe. But yeah, I don't know an awful lot about how the game was received. The fact I didn't hear much about it at the time says to me probably quite poorly, but I might be wrong there. The River of Souls. Your quest begins. Traverse the rivers to reach the Spirit Gate. What's that say? Strike the... What is that word? Tablets. Am I being blind? For control instructions. Hint tablets. Okay, right. Like it said HNT and I didn't understand. Okay, let's have a look at the controls. No DualShock control. It is analog. D-pad only. That's my attack. Camera pan with L1, R1. Crouch. Oh, you can go prone. Kind of. And there's a first-person view as well, so it's got quite a cool control scheme there. Quite a lot of options for the PS1. Hold down the jump button longer to jump higher. Let's see if that's accurate. It is. Okay, so I'm guessing that's how we get across here. And let Akuji's adventure begin. I'm definitely going to go with what I said earlier. It's got... What is that? Some kind of... Looks like the things from Tremors. Yeah, it's got a very big feel of Shadowman, which was a game I had on the Dreamcast, but it was also on the PS1. Looks very similar to that in every way. Same for Soul Reaver. It's got some of the same looking visual cues and styles. Obviously, it's by the same developer, so I'm assuming they use the same engine. But that could just be a total guess on my end. I think it's quite a good looking game for PS1, in my opinion. I think it's quite solidly realised. The gameplay is good so far. No complaints from me at this point in time. Way ahead of you there, Mr. Hint. But yeah, it's not so bad. The jumping's good and responsive. The gameplay's decent. No idea what all these collectibles are. I've had about 6 different types of collectibles so far. I don't know if there's maybe an upgrade tree of some sort or whatever. But it's got a good feel to it. It's the gameplay's nice. And yeah, like I say, graphically, I think it does hold up quite well for the PS1, and I say that because the polygonal games on the PS1 so far, and in this A to Z playthrough I've been doing, I really haven't stood the test of time very well. But I think this one does. We're talking about a game which is 21 years old. 22 if I really go by when it was developed, as it was released in America first. And I don't think it's that bad at all. So it looks like there's some mild puzzle solving elements there. So as you can see, I just smashed my club or what, whip or whatever the heck Akuji has on that trigger, and it stopped this water wheel, so I can now climb up it. So I'm assuming that, because that, if you see it on that platform, it looks like a heart. I am heartless, as the title says, so I guess I have to collect these to, I don't know, restore my heart. I've absolutely no idea. It's a solid enough little game. But appears to be lost to the sands of time and a little bit forgotten, which is a shame, because Soul Reaver especially is remembered, rightly so, as a really, really great game. Was also on the Dreamcast, Soul Reaver. But Shadowman less so. That wasn't well regarded, but I enjoyed it. This you never really hear discussion of or anyone mention. But like I say, I do remember it. What is that? I don't really know what were attacking me there. Some kind of chicken. But yeah, no one really talks about Akuji The Heartless, which is surprising considering it's a PS1 exclusive, because obviously it's the exclusives people tend to fall back on when you're talking about, oh, do you remember that on this system and that type of thing. But yeah, a game that deserves a little bit more recollection than it perhaps gets. What are them things that come out of the wicker baskets? I don't really know. It looks like, I'm about to say it looks like a doll, so yeah, they probably are like voodoo dolls, aren't they? If I remember the lore of Akuji from a very brief look. What's this thing? Should I jump in it? Clearly not. What was that? Receptacle to place a carried lower stone. So obviously I jab that in there. There we go. Oh no! It's another giant flatworm. Yeah, like I said, the puzzle solving seems very minimal, which is fine by me. Does anyone really enjoy puzzles in video games? Let's be honest here. I don't. Invariably, and I don't think it's a comment on my intelligence, but invariably, if I don't solve it immediately, then I look online and get the answer. I think of that when I did Horizon Zero Dawn Frozen Wilds recently, and there's quite a big puzzle in one of the mainline quests on there with these lights they have to turn around, and I looked at it for all of about 2 to 3 minutes, and I just thought, I really can't be arsed trying to work this out, and pulled up a guide. Didn't have that privilege necessarily when these games were out. Internet still in its infancy. But even still, the level of challenge in this is more to my tastes. Very basic, go here, press this button type of puzzle, which suits the game well. Very pleasantly surprised with Akuji the Heartless. Don't ignore this one. I'm certainly going to have a look what type of price it commands on eBay to add to my PlayStation 1 collection. It's not bad at all. There's one of them chickens over there. Come here. The combat's a little bit janky. It's just a button mash with square. There might well be some kind of special ability, but if there is, I haven't yet used it. Nor do I dare press any other buttons, I don't think, just in case I use something that I need. So what do I do in here? Oh. So there is a little bit of gore, as you can see there, with the blood coming out of them guys. And what is that, I mean? Is that some sort of blood river? I think it's meant to be, isn't it? If you look at the texture that they've put on the floor, it's like bits of arm and stuff. Interesting. Do I go around the back of this? I think I was just meant to walk through the front of that, but there we go. I'm through it anyway, so I'm assuming that's the end of the first level, yes. The first warden will require 7. Okay, so you have to find these things in the levels, seemingly, to progress. So kind of a bit like stuff like Spyro, where you need to get a set amount of dragon statues to progress, that type of thing, I'm guessing. Another cutscene. Don't know who this guy is. Has he got a pumpkin for a head? Or am I misseeing it? I can't really tell. Either way, he is floating. He is definitely a beast of some sort, much like myself. Well, it's got full voice acting and cutscenes. Yeah, it's an impressive little game, in my opinion, on the system that has surprised me, for sure. I want to see what kind of average score it got. Let me try and pull that up while this plays out on my phone. Very average, actually. So this is before the era of Metacritic, but 65% on game rankings. Edge gave it 5 out of 10. No shock, really, because Edge are very pretentious and only tend to give high art anything over an 8 out of 10. Controversial opinion, perhaps. But then again, I was a CVG reader, Computer and Video Games magazine, and they gave it 3 out of 10. Wow, that's really harsh. But the scores are all over the place. IGN gave it 8 out of 10. Wow, it's a game without a clear opinion. Scores all over the shop. I wouldn't go as high as IGN, or I won't be doing when I attach a score to this, but I certainly wouldn't be going as low as 5 either. Surprising. Especially for the era. Like, if I were playing this 22 years ago, I would be more than happy and I'd plough through the whole game. Peculiar. It does nothing wrong at all. Does it do anything exceptionally? Perhaps not. But it's a thoroughly solid game. With quite a lot of lore building, and that I appreciate that, because that was quite rare in that age too, to get such an involved storyline with this amount of cutscenes. And yeah, they've gone to effort with it. It's not just been farted out. They really have tried with this game. And I think that shows. Them water effects there, like, you know, on the rainfall. It's a good attempt. But quite clearly, I think we've got the gist of what Akuji the Heartless is from this brief play. You can see from the second level here, it's much of the same. Not that that's a bad thing. As has hopefully been quite clear from what I've said, I'm quite a fan of it. It's not bad at all. I think it has been overlooked incorrectly, and I think I can go out on a limb and say I recommend it. It's a good, solid game.